Good morning, and welcome to the Unitarian Society of New Haven, or USNH. To those of you here in the sanctuary, as well as online via Zoom and YouTube. I am Rich Stockton, a member of the Worship Committee and your worship associate today. You can refer to me with the pronouns he and him. USNH is a diverse, multi-generational faith community that inspires lives of compassion and generosity, nurtures spiritual growth, cultivates transformative connections, and creates a more just world. Thank you, each of you, for choosing to put yourself right here, right now, this morning. May you know that we are not isolated beings, but connected in mystery and miracle to each other, to this community, and to the universe. Do read the announcements in the order of service, or the newsletter, or on the monitor in the lobby. Some brief highlights. If you're having trouble hearing, we have assist devices available as you come in the sanctuary. And if you have to leave the sanctuary for any reason, know that our social hall is wired for sound. And for families with younger children in attendance, there's a space in the back, in that corner over there, and with some quiet activities and comfortable seating if that works for you. Please know that all ages are warmly welcome to this and every service at USNH. If you are visiting today and want to learn more about USNH, there's a table in the far right corner of the social hall after service, where members of the Connections team will be available to answer your questions. And there are some upcoming activities. There will be a memorial for Christine Shadle today at 2 o'clock here. There's an education fundraiser that'll be after the service on May 31st. And there's also the congregational meeting, which is on May 31st, after the service. And finally, there will be a memorial for Jeremy Hill. That'll be on June 6th, 11 a.m. at Whitney Center. Now, let's relax, take a deep breath. Make sure electronic devices are silent, and let us settle in to worship.
Good morning. I'm Jonathan Dean. I'm your ministerial intern. I go by the pronouns he and them. As Rich lights our chalice this morning, I'd like to call us to worship with a poem by Mary Tallmountain. There is no word for goodbye. Sequoia, I said, looking through the net of wrinkles into wise black pools of her eyes. What do you say at the Baskin when you leave each other? What is the word for goodbye? A shade of feeling rippled the wind-tanned skin. Ah, nothing, she said, watching the river flash. She looked at me close. We just say, ta. That means see you. We never leave each other. When does your mouth say goodbye to your heart? She touched me light as a bluebell. You forgot when you leave us. You're so small then. We don't use that word. We always think you're coming back, but if you don't, we'll see you someplace else. You understand? There is no word for goodbye. Please rise as you're willing and able as we sing hymn number 1000 in our teal-colored hymnals, and I don't think I have one up here. I do. Morning has come, and If you are so inspired to come forward to share a joy or concern by dropping a stone into the water or lighting a candle with Rich. Number 1000.
Good morning, friends. Good morning. My name is Jesse Greist. I am your coordinator of congregational life. My pronouns are he and him. I have always been fascinated by the different modalities of attachment and non-attachment in the natural world. There are many species that pair off for life, others less so. I have always seen myself from a very early age as someone who friends for life. When you get to know me and I develop a fondness and a liking for you, get used to it. And then I moved to Monteverde, Costa Rica, which is a town that at any given moment, about 2/3 of the population are either tourists, scientists, or students who are there only temporarily while they do their studies or their tourism. And so the entire town has developed over decades to have a collective mentality around goodbyes. When you're there, you walk down the street and every person will greet you as if you are family, as if you are a longtime friend. And the moment your car rumbles down the dirt road away from town, you are nothing but a fading memory. And that's just the way it is. This was so difficult for me, working at a school where at least 30 to 40% of our population would rotate in and out from year to year. The student population was pretty static. Most of the students were from local families, and so the students would come back year after year. But my first year there, working as a teacher, my students had a kind of deference, a kind of, well, okay, we'll listen to this guy, but they almost never used my name. And for a long time, there was also a kind of, disconnect between us. And when I came back from winter vacation, every single student in my class ran up and gave me a hug and said the same thing. You came back. I realized that this was a third grade class who every teacher they had had from preschool had been with them no more than 5 months. If you can imagine what it's like for a child to come and to get to know a teacher and then have that teacher be out of your life and gone permanently, I was the first person who came back. 8 years later, I was still there. Still in the same school, having taught the same children at a couple of different levels because I changed grade levels. And finally, it was my turn to say goodbye. My wife, Sandra, my 2 children, we thought we were going to be the exception to the rule. But sure enough, when we left, when we moved to Hamden, Connecticut, little bit by little bit, a couple of weeks went by, and suddenly our connections in this town that we had lived in my case for 8 years, in Sandra's case for 10 years, were just gone. And we realized that this is the reality. And then I started working at the Unitarian Society of New Haven, another community where there is a core population of people who have been around for years, and there's also the reality of people, ministers, presidents of the board, children, families, who come, who are part of our beloved community for a time, and then either physically move away, drift away from the community, whatever their reasons are. There is a reckoning that each of us has to face year after year when we lose beloveds for whatever reason. And I'm ready for it now. I wonder if we can work together to be ready for it too. Many of us have seen a few ministers come into this place, bless this place with their words, and then depart. Many of us have seen new visitors with bright faces come in one morning and we go, this is it, I am connected to this person from now until, and the next week, who was that? These are the ebbs and flows of community life. It's natural. It's hard. It's difficult. When you realize that that one person that you were just getting to know isn't here anymore, it can be very tough. And there can be a kind of a mourning. We can find ourselves going into a kind of a protective mode. Well, maybe I won't open myself up to this new person who's walked in because maybe they're just going to be the next person who's going to turn around and not show up anymore. The temptation is there. But you know what else is there? Today. This moment. And the magic and the inspiration that I take from each conversation I will have with so many of you today is special and will always live in my heart. I will never forget any of you. And I hope that the community that we build together can also hold a place for every person who comes through these doors, who watches online, and we find a way to honor and also to let go, and also to make space for those that are yet to come. May it be so. Today is also our final day of children's religious education classes. And so there's a bit of a celebration in every room upstairs. Let us very vociferously sing our children off to their last day of classes with words that are in your order of service. Go now in peace. Go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Go now in peace. Go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
Covenant lies at the center of how Unitarian Universalists gather in community. We are united not by a particular set of beliefs, but by the promises we make about how we will be together, how we will treat each other, and how we will seek to mend relationships when we fall short of our aspirations. Each week, we recite together a brief version of our covenant. I encourage you to read the full covenant on our website. While the following words express our intentions in writing, our true covenant lives and breathes in our actions. Please join me now in reciting the words that appear in your order of service or in the chat on the live stream. We covenant together to create and nurture a culture of respect and kindness, and to engage in the spiritual and everyday practice of loving more generously. To this end, we will strive to be open, value differences, listen deeply, use kind language, speak our truths, work with conflict, seek humor and joy.
Thanks, Rich. Welcome to Dimitri playing for us today. Dimitri is our new pianist, and he was in New York for a month doing a musical. We are delighted that he's back, and he's going to stay here forever. So thank you. Truly welcome. Donna Makova is a midwife who decided to give midwife to books, and her meditations are beautifully transparent. This is one of my very favorite readings, and then we will join in silence. I will not live an unlived life. I will not live in fear of falling or catching fire. I choose to inhabit my days, to allow my living to open me, to make me less afraid, more accessible, to loosen my heart until it becomes a wing, a torch, a promise. I choose to risk my significance, to live so that which came to me as a seed goes to the next as blossom, and that which came to me as blossom goes on as fruit. For all the transitions that lead to the fruitfulness of life, let us hold silence together. Amen, and may it be so. And Rich, You get to ask for money. Go for it.
We have so much to be grateful for, and we have so much to offer to each other. Every week we lift up the spiritual value of generosity by asking for your offering, as well as your pledging for the ministries of this congregation. You can go to our website, usnh.org, hit donate, or mail to our address, 700 Hartford Turnpike in Hamden, Connecticut. You may also make your offering by text using the number found in your order of service. Or if you are here listening to Dimitri's music, you can put your donation into a plate as our ushers pass them around. Your generosity is deeply appreciated.
After Jesse's words and anticipating what Jonathan, after his years of being a therapist, and I know what you're about to say, I feel a little bit today like Tom Sawyer attending his own funeral, but it's all right. I don't mind. But Jonathan certainly got his own back because he gave me this reading, Nitka Nurman Firfir, by Harvanish Raibakvan. Thanks so much, Jonathan. Thank you so much. And he rubbed it in. He gave me the original Hindu to read, and he wrote, I dare ya, with a little smiley face. Thank you so much. Nitka Nirman Firfir, Ne Ka Van Firfir. It reminds me a little bit of a joke of a woman who died sadly and went to the heavenly gates, and St. Peter greeted her and said, to enter is so easy, but God's kind of a universalist, and all you have to do to get in is to be able to spell the name of a flower, because that's what God's happiest creation is. So your word to get into heaven is rose. And she said, R-O-S-E. And she was in. The next woman right behind her, Lily, L-I-L-Y. And St. Peter said, you know, you did such a wonderful job. I've got to go do an errand. Do you mind just sitting here just for a few minutes? You know the routine now. You just ask the person to spell a flower. And so she sits in, she looks at the long line, and at the end of the long line, awaiting to enter heaven, is her ex-husband. And when he gets to the front of the line, she says, all you need to do is to spell a flower. And your flower is chrysanthemum. Nitka Nirman Firfir. The English translation is, build the nest again and again. Call for love again and again. The storm blew so fierce that darkness swallowed the entire sky, and day turned to night. And then came a night even darker still. But on the proud, high forehead of the sky, two little sparrows had built their tiny home with the same straw over and over, building the nest again and again, calling for love again and again. This morning's anthem.
Thank you, choir. How lovely is this dwelling place. As a young man, I was never very good about goodbyes. Sometimes still, I avoid them as I just don't want to go through the formality of them. I admit it. It is not my forte as a human being. I'm very good at what has become known as the Irish goodbye. Slip quietly through the door, leaving under that radar. No hugging, no long goodbyes, happily, emotionally avoidant. I've changed my ways mostly in becoming more comfortable with saying goodbyes to friends at parties, events, and gatherings, congregants. But I think many of us struggle with coming to an end. Not just a death or a funeral, endings in general. Endings of relationships, jobs, identities that we once held, endings of the seasons of our lives. They all come with an emotional price. A tension of loss and anxiety, and excitement of what's next. Healthy endings, perhaps a new way for us all to fully experience what is ahead. My ex-partner would lose his mother years ago. She was a single mom of 4 and had many grandchildren. She was the glue that kept her family together. She was the matriarch of the family, not an iron face, but an iron voice. Before she died, she had one request of her children. No funerals, no memorials, nothing. I don't want you at all fussing over me. I don't want you to remember me as being sick. I don't want to be a burden. Sound familiar? The family honored her wishes. She would be cremated and eventually end up in a cardboard box in my guest bedroom. I stood by for a year and watched this family become unglued. My partner's family was very close. They loved each other very much, but the fighting and resentment came on and the family splintered over the year. They had not grieved as a family. They had not celebrated or memorialized their matriarch and their family leader. Unresolved grief turned into anger. The following winter, after she died, I was in the guest bedroom looking for something shiny or glittery, as that's where I keep those things. Joanne's ashes fell to the floor. I stood there and yelled at the box, "Damn it, Joanne! You've made a mess of this family. You really screwed this up." Here I am talking to a box of ashes. I don't know. It was in this moment I realized this family had never said goodbye. And so my partner decided after some discussion, that she needed to be memorialized somehow. That spring, he would go about researching how to intern his mother by sea. His family had vacationed in Connecticut shorelines over the generations, and he wanted to place his mother where she was most happy, at sea. He would make arrangements with a friend who had some shoreline property, and right before tourist season began, and we set the date. He found these dissolvable sheets of crepe paper which were suggested to wrap her ashes in. He would create packets for his family to set their mother and grandmother into the ocean. It was honestly a most loving and thoughtful gift that he prepared for his family. The day arrived for Joanne to go to sea. We had a picnic set up in the backyard, ready for the family after the ceremony, but we walked down on this warm and beautiful spring day. The sun was shining, and we walked quietly as we walked to the beach. My partner had his basket with his mother's cremains in these crepe paper satchels for each of his family members. We arrived at the shoreline. There was hardly a wave. It was quiet on the Sound that day. It was as if the ocean was ready to receive Joanne and for her children to have the proper send-off for their matriarch. The eldest grandchild asked if he could go first, which was unusual because he was very quiet, and his mother was so impressed and so proud that her son wanted to go first. He took his packet tenderly, went to the ocean, and skimmed it across the water like a skipping stone. Grandma bounced twice before sinking into the Sound. The family burst into laughter, and the grandchildren all grabbed satchels and started skimming Joanne across the Sound. I believe the best skim was about 5 bounces until Joanne settled into the Atlantic. But that was precisely what this family needed. They stalled in their grief, and now they were laughing and crying, sharing and mending their relationships on the shore that day, recollecting the funny times and the loss that they felt of Joanne's passing. The family could now move forward, together. They were no longer avoiding their loss. Their family finally had a healthy ending. We are an amazing society here in this country in celebrating new beginnings. We celebrate birth, first days of school, teeth coming out, quinceantenaries, proms, graduations, weddings, and the list goes on and on. Even furniture sometimes we celebrate. What we do not acknowledge well is loss. The loss of innocence, the loss of a job, the loss of a pregnancy, the loss of a precious life. Those not engaging in funerals, memorial service, or life celebrations have gone up since 2001 at 5% to 23%. There are factors such as cost, of course. Ignoring the big goodbye is becoming part of our cultural norm. We just don't say goodbye. Healthy endings are not about perfect closure. It is more focused on compassionate transition. Life will change whether we are ready for it or not. Relationship shifts, roles shifts, communities evolve. We cannot stop change from coming. Being alive is active. Activity requires movement. Movement incurs change. We get to decide to journey through the change and endings consciously or unconsciously. Buddhism teaches us the strength of impermanence. In the Dhammapada, chapter 20, verse 277, it is said, "All conditioned things are impermanent. When one sees this wisdom, one turns away from suffering." We become open to the future when we transition out of our past. The suffering is staying within the loss, becoming stalled, fearful, resentful, and chained to this loss. Embracing change, however frightening or anxiety-provoking, is far easier than being trapped in the inertia of loss. When we demand the world be permanent, this is where our suffering begins. The wisdom in this passage, as I see it, is that endings are not failures of our lives or of our communities. It is, in fact, that we are part of a larger continuum of life. We are all here and all part of this wonderful experience, but for a brief moment. Many indigenous peoples have a similar way of dealing with endings, the cyclical patterns of us being part of a larger ecosystem. We are not, as written in Genesis, man having dominion or ruling over the world. Quite the opposite. We are part of the world. Many Midwestern indigenous people highlight that their languages traditionally lack a word for permanent goodbyes. Writing about death is framed around the phrase, and I'm going to get this really wrong, Gigawababeen Menawa. I'll see you again, emphasizing that the departing soul is simply moving to the next quadrant of the spiritual circle. In our call to worship this morning, the poem by Mary Tallmountain, the verse, we just say ta. That means see you. We never lose each other. There is no word for goodbye. The rest of nature understands these principles better than us humans, us smart and brilliant humans. Trees don't panic when their leaves fall. Tomato plants don't react with anger when you get pruned. What worked in the past may have been inspiring and gives us many beautiful memories and were necessary at those times. Yet life keeps unfolding. In all honesty, if we were to keep things permanent, perhaps we would still be using whale oil to light this place, and I would have utilized a quill to write this sermon. Humans evolve, as does nature, as do communities, and as do ministries. USNH has had and is having a year of loss, passing the torch and goodbyes and so longs and until we meets again. Whether it's by loss of life and funerals, the resignation of a dear musician after a 40-year career with us, the upcoming loss of a family due to hostile conditions where they need to relocate out of the country. And onto the passing the flame from last year from Sunny to me as your intern, and this year with passing the flame from Reverend Stephen to Reverend Mandy. We have a lot of transition, and this congregation has certainly learned to adapt to the changes that are coming. There is this building tension that happens in this wonderful space that is expected as people shift in and out of leadership. The fears of what will happen. Will I like this new person? Will I lose some friends here because they move on? These are valid and very much part of the process. These feelings are deeply human and welcomed here. Healthy congregations don't avoid these transitions. They learn to move through them together, the veteran members and the new alike. The covenant between people is what sustains this community through change. You have been there for each other and now will prepare to care for each other as change occurs. Have these open conversations. Welcome the transitional stress. This is the healthy endings that I'm talking about. Carry forward the spirit of this place together as a community. This is the splendor of covenantal community. Many of you have lived through the changes that are about to happen in this society. You understand that as a collective we, that is the strength here. And for the new members, I want to say this clearly. If you are worried or anxious about the changes coming to this space, I am pleased to inform you that you are committed and attached to this space. That is your care. Your uneasiness is not a weakness. This is your love expressing itself honestly. Keep coming. Walk through this healthy ending with your community. Talk with each other. Support each other. Stay connected, and when in doubt, reach out to one another. This is communal work. I really struggled with writing this sermon. I felt uncomfortable and really did not know why. As a clinician, I train this with clients going through transitions frequently. Why now? Why with this specific sermon? I have been and had been spending a lot of energy and time in how these transitions were going to affect everyone here. Everyone. I had barely considered how this was affecting me. I guess you might realize, as I did this past week, putting these thoughts to words, why I choose this topic in the first place. I had to face me, my thoughts, my feelings, as all this transitioning is happening, going through my healthy ending. Personally, I'm in the midst of a lot of transition, back at school at my age, entering into a new vocation and calling. I've had to put my private practice on hold this past month as I'm starting chaplaincy at Bridgeport Hospital. And the Reverend Stephen is leaving. I came to New USNH carrying some anxiety about working with Reverend Stephen. An older, cisgendered, straight male with a booming voice. I thought this would be my spiritual challenge. In my own personal journeys, such men of authority have intimidated me, and I decided that I needed to address this for my ministry. And Stephen, this is not a eulogy, this is modeling. So I would face this demon. I would face this cisgendered Stephen, the Goliath, like David with a slingshot. Of course, my version of David would be wearing this scarf. But what I found was the most compassionate, caring, and kindest souls I've ever met. He is a person who truly loves people. He loves his ministry and our faith tradition. He also has the ability to get laughs for possibly the worst dad jokes I've ever heard. Some things I am so looking forward to. Not hearing them might be one of them. He has taught me in the 10 short months so much more about me as a pastor. Not just about ministry, but about presence, compassion, patience, humility, and humanity. I know why Sonny directed me to the doorsteps of USNH, so I'm sad that he's leaving. And I'm excited about our new beginnings. Thank you, Reverend Stephen. You are precisely what I needed. And ta. Healthy endings are not about erasing. Not about erasing grief. Not about erasing the anger. They're about honoring what mattered while making room for what is next. They remind us that change is not abandoning love, it is respecting love by allowing it to transform us. May we learn to honor and show up for endings and transitions, show up for each other and for our full selves with openness and curiosity. Show up for each other always. May we continue to grow this beautiful community, connected and caring for whatever comes next. Let this be so. Amen. If you please rise, if you're willing and able, to sing 163, For the Earth Forever Turning. As Rich comes to extinguish our chalice past the flame, we speak these words in our program. Carry forth this chalice flame, its illumination into our daily lives, its sustaining warmth into our relationships, the light of reason shining beyond these walls. May we carry the fire of hope in our hearts this day and in the week to come. Go forth with a simple intent of peace. Journey forward with open hearts and open minds. Make your path that of justice and fulfillment. Be a healing light in our community. Be courageous in the presence of hate. Hold fast our shared values and live them beyond these walls to serve the common good of all the earth. Go now in peace. Amen.